Okay, hey, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, and I've had a change of plan. Instead of going up and sitting at the table, I figured I'd bring the laptop down here because it's quieter down here, and I can get a little peace and quiet up there. There's no way. So I got 9 comments on here, and if you're watching this, you can go here and you can see these comments, right? And some of them make absolutely perfect sense. And some of them are going to help to make my point. And there's one in particular that's going to help make my point. Okay? There's one question here. Mark, did you decide to keep the farm, or are you still planning selling and moving? Hoping I can see your farm operation sometime. I am keeping the farm. And that's something that I need to talk about at some point, because one of the principles that we should live by is never give up, never quit. And there's a couple times there where I thought about doing that. I thought about quitting. And even to the point where I wanted to sell the farm and move on to something else. Okay, where is it? Okay. This one says, by drain the swamp, I mean expose the devils. In Florida Everglades, there are snakes and reptiles that should not be there, for example. Expose them and capture them. I believe it is happening and cannot be avoided because of the sexual behavior of the cold-blooded beasts. They turn on themselves. And that one stuck out to me. And I already tried making this video, and when I read down through them, I had too much commentary, and I started going too long. And I can only go for 10 minutes, or Mr. YouTube won't let me upload it, and I don't know why that is. I think it has to do with a filter or something that they've put on. I used to be able to go really long, but not anymore. Okay. If we're going to talk about this one, he says, drain the swamp, I mean expose the devils. Okay, let's just take that word devil. Now, to me, a devil is, is something that when I think about a devil, I think of, a certain type of behavior and things like that. But if you were to poll the person who I'm thinking about and ask them, what's a devil to you? Then they would say, well, it's the guy that does this, Like, okay. If you ask me what an outlaw is, I would say Al Capone, that type of guy, right? Robs banks, kills people, and stuff like that. If you'd ask Al Capone, what is it that you consider, an outlaw? He would dislike the people that stand in his way of what he wants to do, right? So, it's kind of like beauty being in the eye of the beholder, or ugly being in the eye of the beholder, or whatever, Like, I have this idea of what needs to be drained out of the swamp, but then I have other people who have other ideas what needs to be drained out of the swamp. Like I said before, I think the likes of, Bill Schuette and Pat Colbeck, they need to go. And my criteria is, very simply, oath of office. Very simply, oath of office. When we hire these people for these jobs, we ask them to put their hand on a Bible and raise their right hand and take a solemn oath before God and country to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. We ask them to do that. If they will not do that, per the state constitution, they cannot have the job. They must do it. It is law that they must do it. And they do it. And then when we step back, these two individuals especially, I'm not even talking about the Democrats that are running. I haven't even looked at them. And then there's one other guy, Republican, that's running. I haven't met him yet, and I don't want to comment on that until I meet him and vet him a little bit. And I will be doing that here shortly, I think on the 22nd of this month. But with these two individuals, they've already taken the oath, and they've already violated the oath. And both of them have given themselves the right to do it again. They're saying, yeah, we did, but we may have to do that in the future. We may have to violate our oath in the future for the safety of the children, or for, you know, the environment, or for this or for that. No, no. You take an oath, you stand by that oath, and that's what we're looking for. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe some other people out there are not. And that's a whole nother conversation. Like, there's some pretty smart people out there that are backing these individuals. And you have to ask yourself, why? And some of these individuals, if you back them into a corner and you say, does it not matter to you that these guys have violated their oath of office? You might get some interesting questions or some interesting answers out of that. And I would recommend that you do that, you know, if you are wondering which way to go here. But I thought, just for fun, we could, in the spirit of the declaratory ruling, we could ask for our next installment for some input in the comments section. What are the characteristics? This thing just turned off on me. What are the characteristics of a swamp creature, right? What are the characteristics of a swamp creature? You know, we want to drain this swamp. We want to drain it of, you know, devils and snakes and reptiles. What are the characteristics of those snakes and reptiles that we want drained out of there? Can I have some input on that? And let's see where this goes. This could be kind of fun. I think what we're going to find out is the measuring stick to measure these individuals that want to run. The vetting process, the standard is how well they rate in keeping their oath, or, you know, as opposed to how many times they've broken their oath. Like, when that would be a good rating system for politicians. All right, you took an oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution. How many times have you kept it, as opposed to how many times have you broken it? It should be zero. They should be able to at least live up to the same standard as our military people that could be the lowest E1 who is expected to live up to his oath of office flawlessly. Of course, there's always problems at the beginning, but, you know, you straighten the guy out, get him in a groove, and get him going. These guys, they're career politicians, all right? They're career breakers of their oath. And, you know, when this is said and done, I have a feeling that we're going to get some input here as to characteristics of people we want to go. All right, so we want to get rid of individuals. What are the characteristics, and how are we going to judge these individuals? What are we going to judge them against? All right. Okay, so this should be fun. So let's try this. I'll give it a couple of days, and then I'll come back and give it a little bit more commentary on this. It's Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm.